human, right? Like you have to go through those difficult times. And before I would count difficult times as like negative, but now I don't. This Chinese farmer, he has like a donkey and the donkey dies. And everyone's like, oh, it's so sad. And he's like, we'll see. So next day, these two donkeys come out of nowhere and then they just stay with him. So you got 2 free donkeys. And he's like, everyone's congratulating him. And he's like, oh, like, we'll see if it's a good thing. And then next day, he is taking care of the donkeys. It kicks him, breaks his leg. Well, and now everyone's like, oh, it's so terrible. Like, that wouldn't happen. Like, negative experience. Yeah. It's like, we'll see. Next day, there's a war that sets off, and everyone over a certain age that is an able-bodied person has to go to war, but then he doesn't have to go to war because his leg's broken. So then it shows, like, you don't really know the consequences of things until after. So a lot of coaching that I've even gotten and like books that I read through philosophy, it talks about how, like, you know when you loop around your head sometimes on experience, like, oh, I should have done that. Oh, I should have pulled the trigger. Oh, I should have done that. Well, it's like, yeah, why did I say that? Yeah, you're just judging yourself. But it's like, how do you know what it turned out, what it could have been? Yeah, right? Like, it's all these stories we're playing in our head. I think that's a big limitation, where it's like, okay, well, you could play the stories. You're wasting a lot of mental capital. Yes. Versus just like accept that there's nothing you can do. There's probably a lesson in there. Not saying like ignore that completely, but then now instead just focus on the next opportunity, right? Yes. Because you never know. And then I think the whole idea of like knowing that we're going to die alleviates so much pressure. Yes, it does. Right? It really does. And I felt like you're so much more grateful for the things that you do every day. Yeah. You're like, now you're just thinking more like, hey, if I do this, is it really worth living, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're more graceful and you're like, oh yeah, if I do this, I'm going to be like, I'm not going to regret this at all. I'm going to do it because I can. Yeah. It's much different mindset than before. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, oh, I got to like put all this pressure on me. Yeah. And like, that stuff tires you out too, right? Mentally draining. Yeah, mentally draining, totally.
What's up, YouTube? Thanks so much for all your support. If you're loving this kind of content and you want to help us make more, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. I appreciate you guys so much. We would not be able to do this YouTube journey without you. So thanks so much. If you haven't subscribed already, don't be a ninja watcher. Hit that subscribe button right there, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
And it makes sense to borrow money if you're getting assets and if you're building real skills. Yes. Right now, if you're going to go on a credit card and just like buy a bunch of random crap and TVs and stuff, it's probably not going to help you. Not the best idea. But if you can pay for something on like 20% interest, but you can make 40 or more, like that makes sense. Now, people say like, what kind of investment can you make 40%? Well, one, you probably got to look around to find that, right? You can do it in real estate. Again, you want to be knowledgeable around that. I think personally, like the best investment is going to be investment in yourself, right? Because if you learn now, that's like a 10 to 30x return, right? Whenever I buy like a program, I probably spend, like last year, I think I spent 55 grand on like my own coaching and education. Yeah. I've gotten that return within like a month of getting that. And that's kind of the power of betting on yourself, right? Now, some people, they're going to look at that and be like, this guy just wants to sell me something. It's like, yeah, cool. You got me there. I want to sell you education so that you can do it and you get better and you can change your bloodline. But at the end of the day, like, if you're so tight on money and you can't afford it, dude, this is why you make the free content, right?
Watch the free content.
If you want to learn the BRRRR strategy, search Patrick J. Hilario BRRRR, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do a deal analysis. That's literally from my coaching program. Yeah. Now, the issue that we talked about earlier is that people learn that. They might not necessarily take action because they didn't pay for it. That being said, I still think like education, investing in yourself, even like tools, like we have enough camera gear here. Like, yes, there's stuff ain't cheap, right? Having an iPhone's not cheap. So like I always look at, microphones, an iPhone. Like an iPhone's a great example because one, it's not cheap. Two, you can either use it to create content, build a business, or you can use it to not do that. And again, you can fully choose, but if you're someone that wants a little bit more in your life, Like, accept and be aware that your iPhone is such an amazing tool. Like, I had a mentor, he always taught me, he's like, hey, there's always a third option. Yeah, it's like there's option A, option B that's like advertised publicly. Just now there's a third option if you can think outside the box. And that's like literally everywhere. And that really changed the game for me, because I was no longer like, oh, it's like A versus B. Well, it's like, sure, but there's a hidden option that you can find